Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Trish Tio TV. I hope you're doing well. So I'm back to react to another interview that Lynn Ngugi has just uploaded on her channel. She was interviewing this lady called Grace about her life. So it turns out this girl had a very rough childhood because her parents were neglecting her. They never really paid her that attention that a child needs from parents. And then to make matters worse, they were very violent towards each other. They used to fight a lot because they were drunkards. They never really used to care about the child's welfare because, like, when she finished her primary school education, she managed to score top marks. She got like 392 marks out of 500, which is quite good. The girl had sort of been psychologically affected that she didn't see any point of going to high school. So you see, if the parents were really caring, they would try to like convince her to carry on with her education, but the parents didn't care. The only thing the mother suggested to her was for her to look for a vocational course to enroll in. But because she didn't follow up the issue as a parent, that story just ended up evaporating like that. So because the girl saw the parents were not really making any follow-up, she decided to start fending for herself. So she started doing manual work, like laundry for people, and she would save up some money. Then, because the situation at home was still hostile, she decided to move out at that very young age and decided to do life independently. So she carried on doing the manual work. Then in the process, she bumped into a man who started giving her the attention she was craving. So shortly afterwards, they started a relationship, and the man would actually start paying some of her bills. Then she ended up moving in with the man, and they started playing house. And come May 2018, she gave birth to their first son. And then shortly afterwards, the man became violent towards her. So they would fight. The girl describes the situation was actually worse than what she experienced back home. So when the child turned 3 years old, she decided to move out and leave that man. So shortly afterwards, she discovered she was expecting a second child, but she didn't tell the man about the second pregnancy. But because she hadn't moved too far away from the man's residence, they would bump into each other sometimes when she's going to buy her groceries. And this man would still beat her up in public. So one day, some stranger told this man about the second pregnancy and cautioned him about beating a pregnant woman. So this guy decided to inquire what the girl is going to do with the second pregnancy. So the girl told him she was going to keep the child, but she wasn't going to go back to him to carry on with their relationship. So anyway, one day, this man showed up at her residence, knocked the door, the girl opened for him, and then he aggressively let himself in, locked the door, and then told her he wanted to have an agreement of a way forward. So he was still demanding that the girl goes back with him and carry on with their relationship, but the girl was adamant. She said she was done. She was not going back to him. So the girl, when she was adamant about not ever going back to that man's house, the man told her either they were going to reconcile and carry on with their relationship, or he was going to delete her and he was going to end up in prison. So he decided to grab her violently, turned her over, and then this girl was trying to free herself. So this guy tussled with her and then grabbed a knife and stabbed her on the back. And then the man was like, "Are you going to agree to reconcile with me and carry on with the relationship?" The girl still said no, she wasn't going to carry on with their relationship. So he stabbed her again. Then this girl decided to, I don't know where she got the strength from. I think the adrenaline had shot up because the body obviously had sensed she was in danger. So she pushed him, he fell over, and then she grabbed the knife from him and stabbed him on the either thigh or somewhere on the leg. And it seems like she stabbed an artery because she said once she stabbed him, he bled profusely. Then she came back to her senses and then decided to run out and call for help. And she actually reassured the guy that she was going to get help from someone so they can take him to hospital. But the man surprisingly told the girl he wasn't going to make it, and he was actually instructing her to run away. But then the girl said she wasn't going to leave him there to die, so she went and found a taxi. But the taxi guy was sort of hesitating because the girl was still bleeding from her stab wound. But then after some time, because she happened to know this taxi driver, she convinced him to go to the scene. So they went there, and the guy was still telling the taxi driver, "No, I won't make it. So what you do, just pretend you haven't seen this, just go away. And as for you, lady, take off." So anyway, they insisted on taking him to hospital. When he got to hospital, he told the doctors that him and Grace were attacked by robbers, and that's why they have stab wounds. So it makes you wonder why he was trying to cover up for her, yet he was determined to take her out. So it must have been some psychological disorder because Grace mentioned the man was actually using drugs. So maybe he was psychotic because you can see it's as if he was caring about her welfare, yet he's the one who inflicted that stab wound. In fact, 2 stab wounds on her. So anyway, after he told the doctor about the robbers, he just passed out and died. And then Grace actually came clean. She told the doctors exactly what had happened. She said she was the one responsible for stabbing the guy. So because she made that admission, the doctors called cops. So she got arrested and then was charged with murder. But then when her case came up for mention, she was lucky she ended up dealing with a lenient judge who bothered to find out her childhood story and all the events that led up to that fateful day. So anyway, because of that, the judge told her that what she was guilty of was actually manslaughter because she hadn't premeditated deleting that guy. So anyway, she ended up being charged with manslaughter, and the sentence for that would range from 1 year imprisonment to life imprisonment. But luckily, when she was sentenced, she only got 7 years. So she went to prison for 7 years. So because she was expecting, she actually gave birth to the second child while she was still a prisoner. And she ended up doing like 4 years. And then whilst in prison, she managed to actually finish her high school education and actually enrolled for her university whilst in prison. But then, because she was still in prison, she had to wait for her release date to start her college. But when she came out, because she had applied for college funding whilst in prison, and because she was still an inmate, she couldn't get hold of the funds. So she nominated her mother as the recipient of the funds for her college tuition. So when she came out, she discovered her mother had squandered all the money. So the girl was back to square one because she couldn't afford to enroll for uni. And then because the mother was the one taking care of her firstborn, when she was out, the mom didn't even give her a chance to like sort herself out. She decided to hand over the child to her and told her to look for ways of sorting herself out, because the mother was, but this time her father had already passed on, so the mother was just looking forward to entertaining the next man. Yeah, so the girl actually went through it because she actually said whilst she was in prison, her mother only used to visit her like once a year. So the funny thing is, because of her ordeal, you'd expect her to be a very bitter soul. But it turns out she's very positive because she really wants to pursue the course she was called for in uni. And she actually admitted to the crime she had committed. She actually forgave herself and actually forgave the man who was violent towards her, as in her children's father, though he's dead. So this girl is actually like a very inspiring girl because a lot of people who have gone through what she's gone through would never really be that positive. Yeah, so what we can learn from this is a child's background really determines what they turn out to be. So if you want to know the full details of the story, I'm going to put a link at the bottom of my channel so you can check out the whole interview and get to see everything from how it started and how it ended and how it's going. So all I can do is just hope that a lot of young ladies learn from this incident. As in, okay, sometimes when you live in a very hostile environment, you get tempted to move in with a man thinking he's going to rescue you from your problems. But you never know, sometimes when you do that, you're like running from one problem to another problem. Because especially if this man knows that you don't have a stable upbringing, he knows that he can control you and manipulate you. Yeah, because like this guy, it's like he expected her to stay with him no matter how violent he got with her. Yeah, because in his mind, he must have thought he is her savior, and he couldn't understand why this girl wants to live independently. Yeah. So I hope a lot of girls will learn from this. And then another issue that keeps coming up, this issue of poverty, it causes, I don't know, it just warps your thinking, because if they had like a well-to-do family, though they were not too badly off, because by her own admission, she says if she wanted to go to high school, her parents would have managed to pay the school fees. It's just that they were misappropriating funds. So if somebody, because in most of the interviews about such women, there's usually that poverty story that drives them to make those unfortunate decisions of moving in with somebody who shows you they can pay your bills. And then, they'll pay the bills. You don't know whether it's going to be for good or if they're just paying for the first few months so they can hook you in and make you their prisoner. So anyway, I wish the girl well. I hope she's going to get all the help that she needs, because she's got 2 young boys to raise. And like I said before, it's very unfortunate that they don't have a father figure at the moment. But I hope the girl is going to build herself and be strong enough to raise those children and be able to give them and provide for them everything that a child needs, so they can turn out to be upstanding citizens. So if you want to watch the whole video, I'm going to link it at the bottom of my channel. So that will be it for now, and I hope to see you on the next video. Please like this video, share it out, and if you are not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so to help my channel grow. Bye for now.